2.
Most have heard of Patrick Henry, one of our famed founding fathers. His life is sprinkled with stories of success, adventure, close calls, tragedy, and failure. Ever since he was a boy, he aspired to follow something greater, more exciting than the path previously walked by so many. The trials endured and successes achieved by Patrick Henry prepared him to ultimately change American history. Patrick was never destined to be a scholar. Textbooks bored him, and arithmetic was never his thing. But even when he was a boy, a different sort of bookwork intrigued him. Patrick spent hours poring over Plutarch's Cato and other historical accounts. Little did he know the information gleaned from these stories would influence his life, and in turn, all of fledgling America. During the Great Awakening, which was a revival of the church, Patrick's mother took him to see George Whitefield, the great evangelical pastor of the day. Patrick was able to hear George Whitefield's Method of Grace sermon, where he quoted Isaiah 6:14 when he exclaimed, "Men will cry peace, peace, when there is no peace." This was a sermon young Patrick never forgot. As Patrick grew older, he tried many occupations, including farming and shopkeeping. But both failed, leaving Patrick and his wife Sally without money. Finally, Patrick decided to pursue law. After much hard work, he succeeded and became a successful lawyer, well known for his just decisions and representation. Once, Patrick was invited to watch the play Cato, a reenactment of the account given by Plutarch in his book, Plutarch's Lives. Patrick was excited to see the play modeled after the book he had read so many times over. That night, Patrick sat in the theater, enthralled by what he saw. The actor portraying Cato paced across the stage, rallying his army for one last fight for freedom. As Cato and his army charged towards the invaders, who were destined to win, he hollered encouragements to his men. One by one, those in Cato's company were mercilessly cut down, until Cato was the last one standing. As Cato stood surrounded, facing sure death by the hands of his enemies, he suddenly stood tall, wiping the sweat and blood off his face, raising his sword before his chest, and with a passion known only by those faced by this decision, he valiantly cried, "Give me liberty, or give me death," before plunging his sword into his chest and taking his life before his foes could kill him. Patrick trembled with emotion at these last words of his historic hero. These words of Cato's would echo in his mind and resound in his soul, sparking a fury passion in his heart and in the hearts of every patriot longing for freedom. When Patrick returned home, the first person he ran to was his wife, Sally. He told her all about the performance and the feelings evoked by the last words of Cato. But to Patrick's dismay, Sally listened silently, with no emotion, later lumbering off to bed with only a groan. The next morning, Sally was no better. She seemed to be withdrawing into herself, succumbing to a deep depression she couldn't express. Within the next few weeks, Sally had become stuck in a mental trap. She had become a lunatic, a slave to her own mind, and there was nothing Patrick could do. Every morning, Patrick would have to don a smile and head off to work, hiding his burdens, so as to save Sally from going to the asylum. Every night was the same. Patrick would return home exhausted to care for his wife, carefully feed her as she struggled to be free of the straitjacket worn to protect herself, then slowly talk to her as one would a baby as she slowly drifted off to sleep. It was during this time that Patrick attended the conference of the House of Burgesses to determine if America would take a stand against Britain. As Patrick sat in the council, he listened to many men seeking freedom state their case, and his heart burned with pride for his country. But as those opposing independence stepped forward and spoke, Patrick's heart burned with a fury passion, and he stood to speak his mind. His voice rose as he started his legendary speech, and his audience listened with rapt attention to his every word. As Patrick called for war, the loyalists called treason, but Patrick pressed on. Patrick reassured the men that God was with them and would lead them into any battle or trial. The crowd fell back into rapture as Patrick cried with apparent passion in his voice, "It is in vain, sir, to accentuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry, 'Peace, peace,' but there is no peace. The war has actually begun." Patrick spread his arms and continued, "The next gale that sweeps the north will bring with it the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What would they have?" He exclaimed. His mind drifted to Sally, bound in the shackles of her own mind, as he declared, "Is life so dear, peace so sweet, to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God." He proclaimed, "I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death." Those words sent a jolt through the crowd and were followed by an electric silence as the image of Cato proudly proclaiming his last words, and the choice that had been faced by many before appeared in the minds of these men. Patrick had evoked the passion of a nation with 7 small words. Our one nation under God was founded on these principles of freedom and faith. Our country was changed with these words that echo throughout history. Our world was changed as he cried, "Give me liberty or give me death." Thank you.
Woohoo!